Hello, everybody. It's Games. I know I barely gave you time to miss me. But I just had to get on here to discuss some things that I've been seeing on Twitter because it's not making sense to me. And I hope, like, maybe if I put it on the internet, like, it'll make some sense to somebody out there. Um, and I do not feel like annoying my mutual. I just got back on good terms with Stan Twitter mutuals. I don't need to be put on to bad terms about talking about some shit they don't care about. They're all watching BL right now, so I'm gonna be complaining about, GL behavior. And you know, I don't want to get ignored again. I don't want to get put on the naughty step. So, girl rules. I'm going to say this. Part of the reason that I've become as invested in the company GMMTV as I currently am, it boils down to I'll say like a couple of things, and most of those things are the pilot trailers that I saw when I was very early on into my BL journey. At this point, it's been a year ago ish, nearing up on a year ago. So I've been waiting for Girl Rules for a very long time. Like this is kind of the show of all time to me. I've been waiting for it to come out. I've been biting my nails, holding my breath, like right alongside a lot of people right now. Okay, so I understand being impatient. I wasn't waiting as long. Like I'll admit that I skipped the queue by a couple of months. But I get being impatient and I get wanting to see this show and I get supporting the amazing actresses. Namtan, film, there's Milk, there's Love, there's View, there's Men. Sorry. Um, it's just because Mim. I'm a little bit dyslexic, so when it comes down to things like the last letter there, sometimes and it's not an English word like milk or love, I get I get a little bit turned around. I also like they're not as like publicly facing as a lot of these other CP like fixed pairings. Like they haven't been on like a high season or anything like that. So they're not as public facing. It's hard for me to form parasocial bonds. I don't want to offend any fandoms. Okay? But they're all lovely women. They're all lovely ladies. I get wanting to support them. What I don't understand is constantly getting online and bashing a director over a show we haven't even seen yet. We haven't even seen the show yet. We haven't even seen a real trailer yet. And yet, we're gonna get on the show and tell this director that he's bad at his job. Number one, do we really believe that this one singular man is controlling the scheduling of these 6 young women? Do we really think he's the one sitting there at the spreadsheet saying, okay, we're going to film this, and this on this day? Do we really think that he's the one that is controlling the schedules, or is there maybe an administrative, division figure, role being fulfilled by a different employee under the big company, the massive company of GMMTV? Do we really think that he's spending his time looking at a spreadsheet saying, okay, we're going to do this, and this. Okay, let's call it this. Are you free this? Do we really think he's sitting out win to meets? Or do we think that maybe this large, like there's many steps in the decision making for this massive production? Like let's think this through. Is it really the director's fault that there are scheduling issues? Number one. Number two, I should preface this by saying people are complaining online that There's 2 Qs left. They're like really berating JoJo over the fact that there's 2 Qs left. They haven't been filmed. And we're waiting on these final 2 Qs, and that's the reason we haven't seen the show. Number 2. Likely the release date has already been set, because just choosing willy-nilly when you're gonna release things as the time flows and going like, yeah, like we can't decide on when to schedule this show to be released because there's 2 Qs left. Like if it was the last game time decision and they were still uncertain about when, at this point in the post-production phase, they're still in production a little bit, but they've already been editing. At this point, do you really think that this would be getting released anytime soon? I'm telling you right now, if the release date has not been chosen already for this show, it's not airing until May, June. Like, they've got a lot of shit. They're not going to risk having dead air. This legitimate, massive media corporation is not going to risk having dead air. I promise you, the release date has already been set. They might not share it with you, because you're not a stakeholder, you're not a broadcast a network, you're not a streaming service, you are a person on Stan Twitter complaining, so they're not going to share this proprietary information with you all, but I can assure you that a release date has already been set. Now, if the release date has already been set, the trailer has to already have been set. If the release date has been set, the trailer has been set. Okay? So what are we complaining about, really, about things that are already set in stone? We're yelling at this director, we're yelling at this company when everything has already been set in stone. Where's the trailer? Where's the trailer? Where's the trailer? It's going to come. When it comes, it's going to be here. Okay? The actresses have already told you, oh, it's going to come. I don't know. It'll be soon. Wait, I can't tell you when. So why are we still asking the actresses the same questions we already know the answer to? Which is it's gonna be here when it's gonna be here. I don't know why we think complaining online is gonna get us what we want. I don't think that. I think what you're doing is just making an already stressful time even more stressful for these people, when it doesn't have to be. Just sit tight, be patient, and wait. Number 3. You're asking, like, why couldn't we schedule, like, the big group scenes that we knew were going to happen earlier on in the production when everybody was free? Why are we waiting to do these big group scenes now at the end when nobody's free? The crazy thing is they started filming before all the episodes were even written. Now, you can ask yourself, now, why would you start filming before all the episodes were even written? But I counter you, look where we are now. Everybody said, hurry up, on delay, let's go, hurry up, let's go. I want to see the show now, today. I want it on my doorstep. So, you know, maybe if we're rushing people to do things, we ended up in the situation where now we're filming a show that hasn't been fully written. And this happens all the time in television, but it doesn't usually happen when the series is, you know, like 12 or 10 episodes long. Like, usually it's when you have a contained story arc that has a fixed beginning and a middle. We're not working on like a sitcom or a soap opera where we're flying by the seat of our pants. When we want to create a cohesive, well-thought-out arc of television, it's helpful to have the whole thing written out at once so we see the end and then we can work back and do edits. That's not going on, you know. That part is done. But at least, they got started filming early. Would you have rather they had written the whole thing, done the whole edits of all 13 episodes, taken a step back and gone, okay, let's do some edits, some rearrangements? I would have liked that to happen. But okay, they go, okay, now we know all the scenes that are gonna happen for certain. Let's schedule when everybody's free. And then it would have taken longer to start filming, and then you would have had the same complaints. So I'm just not seeing the logic here. I don't know how to please anybody in this community, I guess, except for releasing the trailer. But even then, you'd have things to complain about that's in the trailer, and you'd have things to complain about that's in the show. I just think people are primed to complain, and I'm not saying that these are unwarranted complaints that you could have when the show comes out. But let's wait till the show comes out to do our complaining. You've complained during the conceptual stage. You've complained during pre-production. You've complained during production. You've complained during post-production. You're going to be complaining during the release. Just complaining all around. This is not a fun place to be speculating and excited and a fan of this project, because everybody's complaining at every stage of the production. Can we calm down and be happy with something? Can we wait till the show gets released? Like, when the show gets released, then I'll say, okay, now let's look at people to point fingers and blame. Until that stage arrives, I just don't know why we're looking at the director and saying, this is your fault. You're the reason that we're here. When we can't even see what's really going on yet. We haven't even seen what's going on yet. We don't even know. Am I afraid for when this trailer is going to get released? Yes. But that's just because the GMM pilot to trailer pipeline scares me. I don't know what happens. I think that there's just kind of, maybe because when you film a pilot, it's like a much tighter, like you're only filming like this set number of scenes. So you're writing this pilot as if it were like its own contained project. And so that leads it to being tighter. It's very paced. The stakes are clear. The characters are well defined. It's got a very clear aesthetic because you're writing this like 2-minute thing and filming it like a short film, compared to you have a whole show and let's pick out scenes from the whole show to make a pilot, to make a trailer, and then we lose some of the good pacing. I don't know why I've seen the difference in like my enjoyment between pilots versus the actual trailer. I, unlike a lot of people, have trust and faith in JoJo. I don't know, maybe that's a blind sort of religious faith that's going to be tried and tested and lead me astray. I feel like I have an understanding about what I'm getting into coming, in terms of like the work that he makes, and I generally I enjoy it. I'm really excited about the aesthetic choices that I saw in the pilot, and I feel confident in his ability to pull those aesthetic choices through to the trailer and then for the rest of the show. But I am scared that the trailer is going to come out and I'm going to be like, so we were waiting this long for that? And I think that's maybe the danger of doing release, like having but I think that might just be because the system is set up where at the start of the year we generate all this hype, and then we have this hype going on for like a long drawn out time. And I understand that like maybe the pilots are released at like the lineup. I guess it's at the end of the year. I guess the pilots being released there like generates like hype and can draw in sponsors that are gonna help fuel and fund the show as it goes into pre-production and into production. However, I wonder if that can be like, you can show these shows like privately to I just don't know about releasing it to the public. And I get like it's like a tradition now, and it would be kind of weird to stop doing it at this point. And I would be sad because like this is something that I look forward to this year. Like it's my first GMM TV lineup release. But I do wonder about like I know good things take time. And people don't like to wait. And I think that maybe sometimes, like, that is, like, the audience's fault. Like, that's people on GL Twitter, BL Twitter, what have you's fault. I think the GL Twitter, and, like, I'm not trying, like, I don't want this to be a vehicle for misogyny. I really do not want that. But I feel like there's a sort of sense of righteousness that happens on GL Twitter that's, like, kind of less so on BL Twitter because, like, what leg do we really have to stand on as Fujoshis? Like, there's not much. There's not much for us to be self-righteous about, but it's, like, morally correct to consume content of women kissing other women. Like, that's just morally high ground, you know. So there's levels to it, but I think that sense of moral superiority gets turned into, like, I'm getting mistreated at every turn. And I do think that there's an element of mistreatment that happens here, like a strong element of mistreatment that happens looking at like the GLs versus the BLs. I mean, just look at the fact that last year, like, or I guess, yeah, last year, like how many GLs were even released? Was that 2 were released last year? That's not a lot. We moved up to 7, but like how many BLs are being released with all these Kayas? You know what I mean? Like all these new goo. Like, I'm excited for the GLs and the fact that we're, finally getting to have more equal footing, but I think it's like still like a big difference between the two. That being said, I feel like some of these, like, JoJo is not the enemy to lesbians. JoJo is definitely not the enemy of lesbians. Let's look somewhere else if we want to find lesbian enemy number 1, public enemy number 1, okay? Because I don't think it's JoJo. I just don't think that he's the one that we want to be raising the pitchforks against, although I'm not a lesbian, so what do I know? That being said, so part of it is the audience's fault. I think also, like, you set expectations so high. If you're not capable of fulfilling that in the actual series that gets released, and then we see what could have had, and we have all these time for people to speculate about what the series could have been, and now they're writing, like, extensive fan fiction. They're all up on the timeline with their headcanons. They're thinking this, they're making all these kinds of edits, and then the actual product comes out, and it's kind of like, I don't think that's gonna happen because, again, I trust, like, NP JoJo I trust, but I wonder, like, I'm always wondering, like, I don't remember. I didn't sleep, actually, so my memory is not as good. Yeah, I do wonder, like, if I only think that because I've only seen JoJo products after, like, the pilot has already been deleted. Like, I've never seen a pilot. I did see the Heart Killers pilot. I didn't love it compared to watching the Heart Killers. And I think I saw the Only Friends pilot after I saw Only Friends. But I wonder, like, if I didn't have one, would I, like, want the one that I saw first more? I don't know. Lots of questions. I'm still excited. I feel like it's gonna be, like, either this week or next week we're gonna get the pilot trailer. I mean, just the Girl Rules trailer. But if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I'm fine to wait. I have other things to do. Maybe, suggestion, GL Twitter, find some other things to do. Okay. Games Closet is out.